I, 24 female, have a younger sister, 22. For as long as I can remember, my sisters tried to compete with me. My family is pretty athletic. My parents, older brother, sister, and I all played sports in high school and college, though not the same ones. It wasn't abnormal that my sister wanted to sign up for the same ones as me. Everyone thought it was cute that she wanted to do the same sports as me. Later, it was also band and the debate team. Everything I did, she had to do. That itself isn't the problem. My sister is funny, hardworking, and generally a great person. The problem is, she always did this to compete specifically with me. Even when we were on the same teams, she made it known that her mission was to outscore or outrace me. Even if she came second to last, she would be happy as long as I was last. Even grades, she always got solid A's or A minuses, but I got A's or A pluses. She was more interested in my GPA than her own. Her problem is that never happened, not once in almost 15 years. She's talented and a great athlete, but she could never beat me. I really didn't care. To me, she was just like every other girl on the field or pool. It died down when I went to college. I went to a private school on an athletic scholarship, full ride. She decided to go to the same school and join the swim team, but she didn't get a full scholarship, which was the first blow. My parents thought it was sweet. I knew it would be a problem on the first practice, and she said, "I'm not second best anymore." Like, okay, good for you. Just swim faster than the other team, and I'll be happy. Fast forward to this past weekend. We had a barbecue at the lake, and she asked me to race her for old time's sake. We were just standing around. I wanted to swim and said sure. I swam pretty leisurely. I didn't care if she won. I was just wasting time. I still beat her back to the shore, and she didn't speak to me for a while. Then she said we should change our wedding days to the same day to see who more people would choose. I told her I just needed my fiance and the priest, which my family agreed with. She said I was no fun. I said no, this lifelong BS is no fun. It's exhausting. She said to deal with it because I'll always be her competition. I said that's funny because she's never been mine. My family says I went too far. Am I the idiot for embarrassing my sister and saying she isn't as good as me? Edit. Apparently, by saying I never thought of her as my competition, I was saying she wasn't good enough to worry about. In her words, kicked her when she was down. I'm just over drama from years ago. Not the idiot, but your sister's obsession with beating you sounds unhealthy. It sounds like everyone else always encouraged this because they thought it was cute. It's not cute. It's disturbing. She needs to build her own life and be proud of her own achievements instead of comparing them. Your parents are right. Do not invite her to the wedding. I'm concerned she'll find a way to sabotage it. Get passwords for all your vendors. Oh, my sweet summer child. If she can make your hubby sleep with her, equals she's hotter than you. If she can get kids faster than you, equals she's more woman than you, has a better job title, and is a better career person. She needs to earn more money, has better vacations, gives better gifts to family, has more cats or dogs or possums than you, does more charity work than you, have more kids than you, and the gender of the kids you didn't get. And she's going to have the first grandson. And now we can start a whole list of whose kids are better. Unfortunately, she's made competing with you a core part of her personality. So I don't think it's going to be that easy. Make a race of who gets therapy first and let her win. She needs psychological help since she is so fixated on you. Seriously, she needs help. Consider eloping. Then you could wait a week to tell everyone. Mini update. I spoke with my mom on the phone about therapy and asked her if they'd asked her about it, and she said yes, but she called me to tell me not to update my sister on the wedding and maybe not invite her. She and her fiancé broke up over remarks yesterday. Sure, you think there's nothing left to compete over because her fiancé dumped her and she's no longer getting married. You might be right if she weren't so devoted to competing with you, but my guess is that there's no way she's giving up. Instead, she'll try to get back into the competition, either by getting herself a new fiancé ASAP, or much more likely, doing her absolute best to sabotage your relationship and your wedding. Her fiancé dumped her. Well, the way to get back into competition is to get your fiancé to dump you. I dearly hope I'm wrong, but I would certainly approach her with caution for a while, if at all. I-30 female was with my mother at a restaurant last night. She was meeting my boyfriend's mom for the first time. We're punctual people, so we arrived about 30 minutes before our reservation. We got seated with no issue. The waitress took 20 minutes to get to our table, even though the restaurant was pretty empty. I could tell she didn't want to wait on us right away. She didn't greet us with a hello. She just asked what we wanted to drink. We told her, and I noticed she didn't write down our order. It took another 15 minutes for our drinks to reach our table, and they were wrong. It's hard to mess up a ginger ale and a vodka soda, but she did. My mom pointed out that she didn't order a Pepsi, and the waitress rolled her eyes and took my mother's glass and disappeared. I excused myself to the washroom shortly after. I had no idea where I was going, so I went to the entrance to ask one of the hostesses there. While I was walking up to the server area, I overheard my waitress talking to some other hostesses. She was angry that she had to wait on a black table because they never tip well. My mother and I were the only black people in the restaurant. She wasn't even whispering when she said it either. I was stunned, but her lack of effort started to make sense. I interrupted their conversation, and I asked where the bathroom was. I didn't let on that I heard what they were discussing. When I got out of the bathroom, my boyfriend and his mom were already seated. My boyfriend and his mother are white. When my waitress saw the rest of our party, she did a 180. Her service was stellar. She took notes and told jokes, and our water glasses were always filled. She didn't make another mistake. Because the night went so well, I decided to treat everyone and pay the check. She gave me the machine, and I smiled at her while I keyed in 0% for a tip. She didn't notice until after the receipt had been printed out. By that time, all of us had already started to leave. She tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had made a mistake on the bill. I told her I didn't think so and looked at the receipt. She asked if there was a problem with her service, and I said that her service was fantastic, but since I was a black woman, I don't tip well. Her face went white, and she kind of laughed nervously, and I laughed as well. I walked out after that, but my boyfriend's mom asked what had happened. I told her what I overheard, and my boyfriend's mom said I should have tipped her anyway, because it shows character. She seemed pretty angry at me after that. My boyfriend and mom are both on my side, but I wonder if I should have just thrown in a $2 tip. It's almost like your actions have consequences or something. I serve black people poorly, and then they don't tip me. I don't understand. She needs to learn that lesson the hard way. Be kind to people. Don't stereotype or discriminate, and don't talk badly behind people's backs. You're not the idiot. She is. I'm angry at the boyfriend's mom, who thought rewarding a moron would be a sign of character. Screams volumes about herself. Nah, you pulled a discreet, classy power move on that idiot, mate. I wouldn't have tipped after that. Even the waitress knew it was bad when she asked why, and you told her the reason. No way should someone tip after that. So wait, you showed up 30 minutes before a reservation, without your entire party being there. Then the waitress waited another 15 before taking your drink order, but the rest of your party wasn't there yet. Don't get me wrong, her comments about not tipping are rude, period, full stop. But you were not the most gracious guest. Most places won't seat you until the whole party is present, at least where I'm from. We're punctual people, so we get there 30 minutes before our reservation? That's not punctuality. It disrupts the restaurant organization. Please don't do that and expect to be seated and served. You are the idiot. I'm sure she didn't want to wait on you because you were too early. I'm equally sure it had nothing to do with your race. My wife, 29, and I, 31 male, bought our first house this past winter. The house is in decent shape, but the yard needed a lot of work. We spent the winter planning what we wanted to do with the yard in terms of landscaping. My wife has always wanted a garden, but I have a severe bee wasp allergy, and I didn't want to plant anything that would attract those insects to our yard. She kept begging me to let her build a garden and told me there would be insects in our yard anyway. I carry an EpiPen with me pretty much all the time when I'm outside, but I would prefer not to have a deadly threat in my yard at all times. I went out of town for work about 6 weeks ago. When I got back, I saw that my wife had done a lot of work in the yard. She had bought a few raised plant beds and started a little vegetable garden. She had also dug up a couple of areas on both sides of our driveway and planted a bunch of native plants and flowers as pollinator gardens. My first reaction probably wasn't the best. It was something along the lines of, "What the F are you thinking?" We got into a big fight about it because she kept downplaying how much of a problem it would be for me. She kept saying things like, "They won't sting unless you bother them. They're going to be in our yard anyway. Native pollinator plants are important. You have an EpiPen anyway." Now, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with any of those statements, but to me, she's inviting deadly threats into our yard. And to make it worse, she's telling me it's not a big deal. I told her that if she wanted to keep all that stuff in our yard, she just signed up to do all the yard work by herself because I would not put myself at risk just so that she could grow a few zucchinis. I will not mow the lawn or pull the weeds if it means I might get stung. She told me I was overreacting, but she begrudgingly agreed to do all the yard work since she wanted to keep everything she planted. She doesn't like that arrangement now that summer's in full swing. She complains that it's too hot and the yard work would go a lot faster if both of us were doing it. She complains that the grass grows too fast and doesn't like spending time mowing every weekend. But then she'll also post videos on social media about all the bees her pollinator garden attracts. This past weekend, she told me she was too tired to mow and asked me to do it. I told her that we had already agreed she would do all the yard work since she wanted to keep her garden. She again told me I was overreacting and that I needed to help. I told her that I was not putting myself at risk when we both knew there were more bees in our yard now because of her gardens. I've taken on a lot more of the household chores to compensate for her doing the yard work, so it's not like I'm slacking off. She refuses to see things from my point of view. Not the idiot. To begin with, you and your wife were still in the planning stages when she went behind your back and planted her preferred garden. Second, she's being dismissive of a deadly allergy. An EpiPen isn't a cure-all for your problem. You still need to go to the emergency room if you're stung. There can be lingering effects for days afterward. By inviting bees into your yard, she's really increasing your chance of being stung. It's great that your wife is concerned about pollinators, but it would be nice if she were concerned about her husband too. Have a severe gluten allergy? Here, honey, let's bake flour bread for fun. Allergic to nuts? Ignore the bowl of peanuts on the coffee table. You'll be fine. It's asinine a partner would disregard life-threatening allergies for her own amusement. Worse yet, willingly cruel to invite such allergies into the partner's environment, planning extra tempting pollination zones, and then expect them to deal with it. I'm sorry your wife is being so careless with your health. I'm a gardener with a deadly bee allergy. I chose to live doing what makes me happy instead of choosing to be afraid of the outdoors. I can't live my life scared to go outside 3 seasons of the year. Bees come around if you plant nothing. Bees come to your neighbor's flowers, or even the flowering weeds in a lawn, or to a water source. You can't oversee all of that. Are you avoiding every picnic and barbecue? Not one single doctor has told me, a person with an allergy who carries an EpiPen, that I should stop gardening, and I haven't been stung in years. My daughter is a teen, and she has social anxiety. She's in counseling for it and not meds, not needed. The rule in our household is that if you want fast food when you're out, you pay for it with your own money. If you don't have McDonald's money, you aren't going there. I also don't allow eating in the car, so we stop at places to eat. We had to go out and do some errands. I told her to grab something to eat beforehand, but she said she wasn't hungry. We go on our errands and halfway through, she wants to stop by Wendy's. I pull in and tell her to go in order. I'll get a seat. She returns a few minutes later and tells me she can't order. She doesn't want to talk to the cashier at the front of the store. I told her she needed to order and we would head out. She asked me to order it, and I told her no. We sat for about 10 minutes when I told her it was time to go. She, in short, is angry, and my wife is also upset I didn't order for her. I let her go hungry. I find this stupid. I didn't starve her for days. It was a 4-hour outing. Am I the idiot? Edit. Her counselor told us she needs to start doing this stuff on her own, so this was low risk. She literally gave the example of ordering food without our help. I also ran through a script with her at the table, but she wouldn't do it. Not the idiot. You were on the right side of helping versus enabling, and helping versus doing it for her. I've seen the outcome when a kid with anxiety who's not self-motivated to improve is enabled by a parent's help. And it looks like a 35-year-old adult who can't even do their own groceries. She's old enough to learn to do things herself, and ordering fast food is a low-stakes way for her to learn that if she doesn't do it herself, it won't get done. I completely agree with all of this. She's a teen. Our society supports too much coddling. I know because I subscribed to some of that over the years and see some of that detriment in my own kids. In this specific scenario, he gave her a chance to work on her social anxiety, which she's already getting help with, and they were just running errands for a few hours. He wasn't starving her. My 27 male, girlfriend 23, and I have been together for over 2.5 years. I love her so much in every way. We've been living together for a year and a half. I moved into her apartment and waited a few months so my name could be on the lease. Then I officially moved in. It's been going wonderfully. I love our routines, adventures, and she's made the place feel so warm. For the past year or so, we've discussed our wedding and future more and more. A few months ago, I asked her what ring shape she likes, just to get an idea for when I decide to start looking for a ring. I already know which gemstone she wants and everything. We've talked about how our wedding will be planned, our children's names, everything. I'm excited about that. I guess in her mind, she took that as, I'll propose very soon, when in reality, it's something I want to do, but it takes planning and thought. I don't have a specific timeline, but I've been kind of going along with whatever she wants because I love her, and I've always wanted to be married. For our 2nd-year anniversary, we had a cute picnic and romantic dinner. I guess she was expecting I'd be proposing then, but I didn't. I explained months ago how I've been saving, and it must be special for her. She said, I don't care if the ring costs $50. It's just the commitment when I thought you wanted that. Well, last week rolled around, and it's time to renew the lease. She tells me, I love you, but I think it's time to live apart because it's been over 2.5 years, and you should know by then. Then she accused me of basically stringing her along. I think it's crazy how all this came out of nowhere. It's unfair to me that I must move back to my parents now. 2.5 years is not long at all. You are the idiot. That's really weird to talk about ring sizes and the like when you're nowhere near proposing. You were stringing her along. It's also odd that despite being 4 years older, you moved in with her, not the other way around. Maybe she's realizing you don't have your life together. It's not fair to me that I must move back into my parents now. 2.5 years is not long at all. This comment alone makes me think OP is too immature to commit. It's not about being fair. It's about figuring out your life plans without your girlfriend. Not her fault. This makes me think he isn't even contributing equally if he can't afford a place. It vaguely reminds me of my ex, who wanted to move in with me after 3 months of dating because he made so much money and could help with the bills, and our lives would be so easy and happy together. Yeah, he quit working after his stuff was moved in. I'm pretty sure he tried to baby trap me too. I have a gut feeling this girl dodged a bullet. Good for her.